someone to speak to the public. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
No, I wanted to have
a spokesperson for the organization. We got a spokesperson. Who are we going to pick?
So it's like it basically makes you. So you're saying a spokesperson. What does that do?
It just gives the information of what's going on within this particular organization. What are we doing?
Sure.
How much we spend in money there?
And why is that important?
Well, every day that they spend, billions of dollars on kind of space programs, and we're just like, hey man, what's up? Millions of dollars every day. What's going?
The point is that we think NASA is a disreputable organization that's not doing what it claims to do and is in fact wasting millions of dollars per day of taxpayer money. Yeah. That's why we started talking about this topic in the first place.
That's it, Dandelion, you got it.
Okay, give me a mic check now. Mic check.
Much better.
I finally found it. I finally figured it out.
Every government department. I would make that claim about every single government department.
But that's what they were using that as an example. Yeah. So.
Example, yeah.
Right, but there's more to the NASA thing.
I guess what would disprove that, or what would be something that would...
The second law of thermodynamics.
No, you're not even going to say that. No, I'm saying like as an organization, like as a research organization, as an organization that's trying to be funded to find out more things to contribute to science, if you believe in science or trust it at least. What is it that's questionable?
Well, the questionable thing is that we have people who work for this organization, such as Robert Simon, who is creating an image of the globe that is, I put the link in chat there if you're interested, that he admits is Photoshop and a CGI image that he's created on his computer. So even though they're claiming that they're going into this realm of outer space, which was just alluded to, is not a realm that can even possibly exist in the way that they claim. That's, they're not doing that. They are making stuff up and they're lying to people. That's what the problem is.
And couldn't I say that you're making stuff up right now?
Whoa.
You can say anything you want, but do you have anything
exactly.
to back it up? Do you have anything to back it up?
Right.
Yes. Yeah.
Other
no.
than deny.
Sure. What I'm saying is that the person who showed an image and was very open and honest about this is photoshopped, obviously, which a lot of things are that are put out on social media. That's the thing that.
Yeah, they don't have a real image of this alleged globe that they say you live on. I mean, do you think, Allison, that you live on a globe?
Yes.
What makes you think that? What makes you think it?
Pictures from space, civilians that have traveled to space. I actually am not interested in that specific conversation, but yeah, it's very obvious. There, different experiments that people have done to determine curvature of the Earth, etc. So for me, it's like
yeah, I mean, I think the pictures from space that you're saying prove it. I'm just showing you that they're admitting that they have created these on a computer, so that's not really proof. It can't be verified, but as well as
is that what
people who.
Mean?
Yeah, I mean, that's what he says right in the article. I mean,
Photoshop doesn't mean created on the computer. It means edited, right?
No, he says it. He talks about it in the article. He, took layers of.
Yes.
Let me find it for you. It's in the link here.
He clones images of storms and cloud cover and repeats it over and over and over again.
Sure.
Yeah, it's fake. It's fake.
Can I jump in here?
There's also an image I just posted, and it shows
the
alleged photo of Earth and from space from 2002 and 2007, and it shows a huge cluster of storms that are identical across two separate globes, 5 years apart.
Sure. Yeah. Photos are edited. I get it.
Okay, so let's say, let me just, I want to ask, let's say that you guys are conveying this information, because we've been in this conversation for a long time, like Allison and I. Let's say that, you can prove that things are edited, right? And that they do that for a reason, and that they do it in the vein of convincing you that they're real, right? Okay, and then let's say people go, okay, they're doing that because that makes their life easier, and then most people just accept it, okay, they have Photoshop things to make their life easier, to convince the public of things that are very difficult to convince the public of. Should that be enough evidence for people to side with you?
Oh, I mean, we're off on a rabbit trail when you came in. The most compelling evidence are the long distance observations, which clearly demonstrate that we do not live on a globe of the radius 3,959 miles claimed. All these other things are just icing on the cake, kind of like side notes. No, it wouldn't be enough to just see that they were fake. They don't have a real image. I mean, you could just say, yeah, they just don't feel like showing you that. It's classified or whatever. Yeah, that's not our main claim. Our main claim are the long distance observations that disprove the geometry of a sphere with the radius 3,959 miles.
Right. So, like, let's say these people who like photoshopped or whatever, they had the CGI people, they had their media, like students, whatever, make things. Like, to convince the public, they're like, we all agree that the government just hands out things to do because it's easy. Like, we all like know that, right? So, like, to convince somebody of something of like flat Earth would take way more than just saying like they have lied about, they have made CGI images of the Earth, which is like on PBS, everywhere. Like, that's how we learn, is basically fake fucking bullshit. You know what I mean? So like, that's not going to be enough to do it. That's all I'm saying.
Well, you got to meet expectations of what people think Earth is. And Robert Simmons was one of those people that did that. And if you got an iPhone back then, that was the home screen. That was the home screen. If you got an iPhone, how many?
Well, I'm just saying, like, that's not enough. That's just more like.
But that was his creation of Earth, bro. That's a fact. I'm not making things up here.
I don't disagree that is a realistic. It is somewhat evidential towards your point, right? I do agree that it's not enough.
100% evidential in my favor. 100%. Robert Simmons admits it. I ask him, bro. Don't ask me.
However,
he made it up. He made it up. It came on your iPhone. He made it up. That's the facts.
Yeah.
So,
you got that one.
like the created images that you use as your back screen, I'm not sure how that points to anything.
Okay. You live on a giant lizard, okay? And it's shooting through outer space, and it's trying to catch its own tail. And all these objects are spinning around, but you live on a giant lizard. What's the difference between that or the globe? You've never seen either one of them with your own two eyes, and that's a fact. So
sure. I mean, I walk on it.
Me. Don't believe us. Don't believe me.
So so in any case, I don't think there's no general consensus or any group of scientists that have studied things or built on science for years that suggest
science. It's built on science.
Yeah. Do you want me to explain what that is?
Millions of people.
Yes, I would like for you to explain what science is.
Yeah.
Honestly, swear to God.
Great. That'd be
Make sure we're recording. This will be good.
What's the first step of the scientific method?
I'm not responding to you because
you asked. Do you want to know?
Yeah, I think just going back to let's go back to why, because you asked something like, why are the images important? I mean, because you said that was what made you think you live on a globe, were these images. Yeah, so if they're not verifiable, testable, repeatable, if they're widely inconsistent in their appearance, if they show different sizes of the continent in proportion to what is being shown, if they have repeated cloned images of the clouds on them, I mean, there's something suspect there. So I wouldn't want to base my whole worldview on what some guy sitting in NASA on a computer decided to tell me that my world was, when I can go out and see things in the distance that I should not be seeing if I lived on a globe of the dimensions claimed.
Sure.
39.
And so what about and what about the the 24-hour sun in Antarctica idea? Like, what is so I don't know the current response to that in this realm. I kind of just like fell off and didn't come into these reports for a while because they're super hostile usually. So, but what was the response to that in general?
I don't know. Somebody wants to talk about that. I'm not into the whole, some people are really into this whole, the weird, little YouTube entertainer flat earthers. I'm just not into them. So I'm not here to defend them. Apparently what they saw, didn't see. It doesn't change that, the geometry of a sphere dictates that objects should be disappearing from our view at a rate of 8 inches per mile square, meaning there should be 66 foot of drop after 10 miles, 266 foot of drop after 20 miles, and so on. That whatever was or wasn't seen when I wasn't even there has no bearing on the reality that we do not live on a globe.
The other things were measured, or I'm not sure.
Yeah, I did it myself from Lake Michigan shoreline to Chicago, but
Actually, I want to know more about that. Tell me more about that.
Science.
It's a measurement. No, it's the mathematics of a sphere that would dictate that the skyline of Chicago, I think at 20, let me think. It was like a 53-mile observation. I think at 50 miles, I'd have to look it up for you again. I'm pretty sure at 50 miles, it's should be 1,666 feet of drop. So it should be, Flat Lloyd put an image of it there in the chat at 51 minutes after the hour. So basically, it's more than 50 miles, so most of the buildings should be hidden behind the imaginary curve, and in fact, they're not. You should be only seeing the very tip of the Willis Tower, formerly the Sears Tower, and in fact, you can see the skyline regularly across Lake Michigan.
And the claim is what? Looming?
It's a mirage. Was the claim? It's a mirage.
But you still can't see the bottom.
What does it matter if you can't see the bottom? You shouldn't be seeing it.
In front of it.
Who cares? Who cares? We're not even talking about the bottom. We're talking about the whole thing should be obscured behind the curve, and it's not.
What instrument did you use?
The first time I saw it, I was 12 years old. The last time I saw it, I was using my Nikon P1000. But I mean, I don't know what the image that's in Flat Lloyd's picture. That's probably one of Joshua Nowicki's photos. He's the most famous person for capturing that image. Yeah, he's not a flat earther. He's just a guy who likes taking photos because around here it's just commonly known. You can see Chicago across Lake Michigan. It's a cool thing. People like to see it.
It's a Midwest thing. Very, very Midwest.
According to your chart, 160-story buildings should be hidden.
She's doing science.
According to the curvature of the radius of 3959. That was...
Yeah, sorry, I got to dispute G. Platypus's nonsense in the chat. Please, I thought you were a serious person. Yeah, if you can't see it every day, that means nothing. You should never see it. If you can even see it one time, then you don't live on a globe of the dimensions claimed. I mean, please, give me...
Well, the question... Well, hold on. That begs the question, why can't you see it all the time?
Atmospheric conditions, limitations of your vision, so on and so forth. I mean, please, are you pretending you've never heard this before, G. Platypus? Or are you just performing for these new people?
We're not new, we're old.
Performance, I think.
We lost our groove, and now we're trying to get it back. And
the groove.
I hope you can find it.
It's not working.
I know. I'm not feeling it anymore.
You know what I want somebody to do? I want somebody to go to Lake Tahoe and gamble with me and not do any long distance observations. That's what I want. Let's go skiing. Let's go skiing at Lake Tahoe.
Hunger Games scenario.
Right. Okay.
For Allison to give us the first step of the scientific method.
Scope is big net right now.
Miggy, man, help me out, bro. Jeez, where are we going?
I want to go to Flat Earth, dudes. Like, you must be like Sandy. You must be fucking Southern California. I want to go down there and just like
shoot arrows.
What are we doing together, bro? We're hitting Pacific Beach. We're hitting Ocean Beach.
Ocean Beach. Love OB, bro.
OB. Yes, sir. Gaslight. You don't do the Gaslamp district anymore, huh? You.
Dude, I did that years ago, man. I'm kind of over it. It's cool.
Yeah.
It's great. Gaslight's great, man. Down in San Diego, man. We got some flat earthers down there, man. We can hang out. Some very cool people down in San Diego right now.
Oh, San Diego is one of the greatest places on earth. People,
it's an incredible place.
Why?
I don't know.
The weather is like better than Hawaii's weather almost.
Yeah, it's like 70 every day. 72
every day, dude.
That's it. Don't go above, go below. It's 72. What's the temperature? 72 degrees today, bro. That's it.
And there's lots of hills next to the ocean.
Check the weather; it just says perfect.
Right, every day. Yeah,
it's in San Diego. It's perfect.
And if it's hot, go near the water, and it will be fine.
You'll be good. Yeah, bring a hoodie. Yeah, might get windy.
For real, like June hoodies. People in shorts and hoodies.
Hoodie
is
bowling. Yeah, especially like at 7:00 at night. Yeah. This time
in California too.
I'm a Bay Area guy though, so it's like I'm cooler, but
but you're not cool. I get it.
He's super nerdy, not cool at all, not popular.
Yeah.
I'm popular. Remember that song?
Sweet derail.
Yeah, from
Don't be popular, whatever you do.
I don't want that. Yeah, I don't want that for myself. It's like I love that for you, but I don't love it for me.
Dude, I ain't popular. I'm like under the radar, as they say. Way under the radar.
I'm by the Delta, so it's going to be 110 degrees here in about a month, and I'm gonna
Wait,
I'm gonna die.
110 Delta? What?
Like Brentwood, like kind of Stockton.
Stockton? I know. Like Central California.
Yeah, but I'm like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We need to get back to fighting. Here's what I think. We need to get back to fighting about.
Oh yeah, and I did want to say, like, I'm sorry if I was offensive calling you new people. I'm actually new to this particular server. I used to always be on the 24/7 Flat Earth server. So if you are familiar with all the arguments and so on, then I do apologize because I just haven't personally talked to you before.
Can I ask why? Why aren't we over there? Nobody's ever over there anymore. They're either in politics or they're over here. What happened?
Yeah, I think.
Right, no. That's what I'm saying. With a water pool, and you start.
I was yesterday.
Right.
It's linear.
Yeah, we know you. You know you do that. You got to live like so. Like if you slow down, like how slow would you have to slow down? What's the deceleration rate to not measure water movement?
Ask a physicist. Yeah, I think.
Right, no. That's what I'm saying. Like these people have asked every question. I want to know, like, what is that? You know what I mean?
Matthew knows the answer. Don't you?
Okay, could you restate the question? I'm not 100% sure what you're asking for.
Okay, if you're on an Earth, right, and you're moving between 29 kilometers a second and 30 kilometers a second around the Earth, right, in apogee and perigee.
You're talking about the orbit of the Earth around the sun?
Around the sun, sure. But also, not only that, but like the vector of like the sun, the solar system moving through whatever. Like basically, there's a lot of movement, and water always can be measured with movement, right? It's fluid. So, what, like, should we or should we not feel? Well, let's just go around the sun. Let's just do around the sun. So it goes from 29 kilometers a second to 30 kilometers a second, like at its fastest point and its slowest point, which is about 6 miles an hour a day over a 182-day period. Should that not be measured in the water on the Earth?
The rotation of the Earth provides more acceleration than that, and it's below the threshold of human senses. Here, I'll post the numbers in the chat. Hold on.
Yeah, if memory serves me correct, the orbital speed of the Earth between apogee and perigee. I think it's only an increase of like a half a kilometer a second.
And that's an hour a day, something like that.
Yeah, and that's over the course of 6 months that it goes from slowest to fastest and the fastest to slowest.
But that's assuming an even acceleration and an even deceleration the entire time, right?
Well, that's how it would be evenly.
It would have to be.
It would, unless you've got some other, like unless you start factoring into the incredibly negligible influences that the other, because technically everything attracts everything. Jupiter is attracting us, Mars is attracting us, but you can't. It's such a negligible amount that anything the sun is doing to it just dominates it for this. But
that's what you're saying is like it's just negligible. So forget it. Like that's what I don't like. It's just like it's just negligible.
I'm not. Just saying it. Like, hold on, listen. Let's pretend it is a globe and it's a solar system. The way that I say it's a solar system, we say gravitation is it's the masses of the two objects and the distance from them. You can do the math for the mass of Jupiter and our mass and how far away we are from it, and see how tiny that number is compared to, any other object that's near us. But that I don't just say it's going to be negligible. You can do the math and see how minuscule that number is compared to the mass of the sun and our distance to the sun.
Yeah, but okay, let's ignore the sun.
What are you?
If something is moving and then it slows down, wouldn't the water react to it?
The water is reacting to it.
Okay, can we measure
it? Because it has to.
Can we measure it or not? Can we measure it or not?
I don't know if there's a device that measures that.
Interesting.
Wouldn't that be a very good idea?
Well, you have to think about it like Glue. You have to think about it like this: you're trying to detect a change in speed of half a kilometer a second over the course of 6 months.
Yeah,
right.
That's Mongo.
Okay. Isn't that something that I like? Like that's what I'm asking.
That's measurable.
If it's measurable, if it's measurable, you're going to need sensitive equipment to do it. That's probably outside of our price point.
Isn't it worth it? Okay, but here's what I'm saying. You're saying it's probably
apart and talk through it and figure it out. I don't understand why it's like this debate thing where people are like, well, you can't and you can't, and I don't know.
I like that. Like literally, I have very few questions about like anti-globe things, and the one thing I want to know is that like why can't we measure water movement with an Earth flying around at 66,000 miles an hour over the sun, 400,000 miles, and it's not consistent. It slows down and speeds up. We don't see that anywhere. That's the one thing where I'm like, I just want someone to answer it, and what they give me is like, no, it's just never been satisfactory.
Again, dude, you're trying to
because it doesn't make sense. You're on the right track. I don't know why we're letting platypus try to brainwash these people back to the globe. Hi, Ildiko. I can't stay up much later, but I just wanted to say hello.
Yeah, the answer is that water responds to acceleration, not speed, and the acceleration is very small.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. Like the acceleration, I've gone through the calculations. It's 6 miles an hour a day. So if it was even, it would be what, a quarter of a mile an hour over every hour, something like that, right? Which you could make the case that's not enough for you to feel, right? If I took a car and I slowed down a quarter of a mile an hour over an hour, a sensor couldn't pick it up and it wouldn't make a difference over the other internal Earth movements, with tides and all the other things, like it would be negligible. You could make that case. And that's what I have to do in my head because I can't get a real argument with other people. But
what would happen if in that car you were holding a glass of water and you sat there with that glass of water for an hour? Would you notice anything as you slow down?
If it's that evenly spaced, sure. If what you're saying is like the deceleration from apogee to pedigree is so even that's the case. If that's what it is, that's what it is. You know what I mean?
No, because this motion should be detectable. There should be a scientific experiment that shows a cause and effect relationship of where this is coming from, and it's not measured or detected anywhere. It's just a fairy tale. You're being told. You can do all kinds of mental gymnastics, try to justify it to yourself. You can talk to these professional globe believers who will never get off their fantasy ball because they're emotionally attached to it, or you can face the reality that Earth is flat and stationary just as it appears.
Glue, I would like to point out that between the two sides, there's only one side that's actually sitting here trying to explain it to you right now. I will point that out.
Because you know perfectly well that this has not been demonstrated. No, you're all talking theoretically, like if you were in a car, this, that, the other thing. No, then why hasn't it been empirically demonstrated, this so-called motion?
Some of these concepts have been, and that's what they're talking through.
All right, present the evidence, please, then. Let's see it. Who's going to show it?
What is,
you're all talking theoretically about other phenomena that are not the Earth. So platypus, where's the cause and effect?
Applicable
experiment with an independent, dependent variable showing any motion measured anywhere on the Earth. Please put it in the chat.
I love how you think that's how science works every single time.
That's how real science works, Allison. That's not how pseudoscience works. That's how real science works. Not popular culture, Neil deGrasse Tyson fairy tale science. I'm talking about real
that's where
science,
I get all
scientific
my
method. I don't know anything about you. I'm not claiming that. I'm just saying that is how real science works. Yes, and we do see a difference between real science and people just sitting here and speculating and philosophizing about it.
So guess how science with theory? That's exactly how it starts, period. And you gather evidence, right? You test things, gather evidence, add to what you know, period. Like, I don't understand what you don't get about that.
Nope. That's called research. That's not the scientific method. The scientific method is systematic.
Please do not fucking patronize me.
Okay, well, I'm sorry if you don't like the way I'm talking to you. You don't like my advocating of the scientific method. You are arguing against the scientific method. It's hard for me to take that seriously. So I apologize if you don't like my tone.
So, Allison, can I explain something? Allison, most flat earthers, when they say science, they mean observational science with a independent variable and experiment, and they don't admit any other science like geology, astronomy, marine biology don't count as sciences because you're not doing experiments.
But then, so the inconsistency for
we're getting away from these guys who just tried to snow you, who have not presented any evidence for their claim. I just want to point out, you guys go on and philosophize all you want, but they have not presented any evidence for their claim.
I'm not listening to you.
Wait.
I want to forget what I'm trying to say. So you're saying, but at the same time, you're saying observation is everything. So that's how theories and science is developed, is through observation. So I don't understand, and you are on board with that, right? observation, have to see it.
In geometry, yeah, you have to see it. But when we're talking about science, you have to experiment, test the hypothesis. So
You
there's a
don't
difference
know,
between
that's not
geometry and trying to figure out the shape of something. Yeah, you have to see it.
Yeah, I mean,
what if it's impossible for a person to stand on a surface and not see it, not see the shape of it?
Well,
What
that's
if
not possible because the radius is claimed and is absolute on your side. So therefore, it's measurable over distance. It's called drop over distance.
Sure. So I'm saying, what if somebody can't just stand there? Like, so I'm not sure what your name is, but the girl that was talking said, like, I need to see it with my own eyes.
Yeah.
I don't think I said that. No, I mean,
you also said you did experiments. And so I'm looking forward to hearing about that.
Wait.
Okay, I've been trying to answer like something you said like several points back, which is we acknowledge that there was a time when science was recognized to be an empirical endeavor where we all agreed upon this method. It has gotten away from that, and so people call a lot of things science. That, yeah, we are trying to stick to empiricism, so we are not recognizing those claims or theories that are not based on a natural observation. That's right.
What's a natural observation?
Observation of a natural phenomenon, a phenomenon in nature. That's the whole point of the scientific method, is to test cause and effect relationships. That's why I was trying to get either platypus or
science and
Matthew to give us an actual experiment verifying the motion of the Earth instead of sitting here talking to you about cars.
So chemistry, like where you know people are testing things in a lab, that it isn't naturally occurring, but you're creating the conditions for it to test something. That does not qualify as science under your definition.
Chemicals don't occur in nature? You don't think chemicals occur in nature?
I didn't say that. No, that's not what I said.
Okay, so what part of,
So I said, what do you mean by that? And she said natural observations. And I'm like, what does that mean? She's like, things that are naturally occurring around you in nature.
A natural observed phenomenon.
Wait. Okay. Can we? Okay.
I can't take it. I mean, are you fucking kidding me?
Stop. I liked where we were when I was talking about my cool things, my cool observations. Super cool, by the way. All right, you guys go ahead.
What you like where you were when you were talking about you?
Hold on, let me put it like this. Like, if you guys didn't respect the scientific method, like in your life, like, I don't care. But in real life, when your car breaks down, the mechanic is going to use that method to find out what's wrong with your car. And when he replaces it and charges you $500, you're going to be happy to pay that $500. But if another mechanic was like, I got a theory, I made some observations, I didn't really manipulate any causes or anything of your car not starting, but I think it's a starter, that'll be $500, and your car didn't start. Like, you're going to be like, wait a minute, one of these guys is a pseudo mechanic.
I think you're misunderstanding. Like, theory is the basis for experiments, right? That's experiments in science. Yes, are come from theory.
No, theory comes from experiments.
Holy, like last.
Oh my gosh, that's not true. I don't know.
It's totally true.
Okay. So
no. Yeah, like most globes, you don't know what science is. Obvious.
I know, because she asked earlier, you want to know what science is? I said, yes, I'd like to know what science is. I swear to God, exact words. And I said, what's the first step of the scientific method? And she goes, I don't want to hear from you, asshole.
Well, no, you were being an asshole to me.
Great argument.
Whatever. Nobody gives a shit.
I do. Yeah, that's fine. I don't care. It's fine.
What's the first step?
I am born.
I just want. I have.
I don't want to hear from you, asshole.
Well, no, you were being an asshole to me.
Great argument.
Whatever. Nobody gives a shit. Said, what's the first step of the scientific? She goes,
I am born.
I just want. I have. Like what I like to do is.
Yeah, I know. What's the first step of the scientific method, Allison? Come on. Google it.
I can't possibly know that.
Just Google it.
Science before.
Yeah, I put a graphic in there. It's the real scientific method we're talking about is the then part of the graphic that I put in the chat at 19 minutes after the hour. I mean, if you're interested.
So the pushback, I don't know who said it. It wasn't the most recent two people that talked, but the person before that. There's something to what you said about how experiments drive theory, but the reverse is true as well. So the experiments build a theory, but then which drives further experiments, right? So that is the way science has been, right? And that's, I can't, if you can think of a better way to do that, that would be awesome. And I would love to fucking hear about it. But that's the case. You're right. There are certain things, maybe even by accident, experimentally, have led to theory that has driven, has been built up and then driven further experiments, right? But theory leads to schools of thought, which, drives experiments. So I don't think that, so I will agree to what that person said about how experiments have, in some cases, like helped to build a theory. Absolutely.
Well, okay,
Yes.
so real quick though,
Why are you
actually,
kidding me?
hold on. The theory comes after repeated testing and confirmation of the hypothesis.
That's not true.
That's
No.
true.
That's not true. No, it
No,
isn't.
that is true.
Not,
Citation,
no,
Allison,
not
citation.
It's
Sorry,
not
Allison, how do you have a scientific theory without the science?
You have to have some idea built on some, basis.
Yeah, so you start with an observation and it moves to a hypothesis, right? And then with the hypothesis, you gather evidence through experiments to confirm.
I know you're not mansplaining this shit to me right now.
Oh, shut up.
I'm
Please, you didn't like it when you definitely didn't want to talk to me. So yeah, definitely talk to the men.
Mute that fucking.
I'm just saying, like, this is literally how, like, a scientific theory is developed. And I'm not
He's
just
being way nicer to you than I was. But seriously, you cannot start talking to him about mansplaining when you don't like my tone, because I got a tone and it's getting worse by the minute. So listen to this guy who's being totally calm and rational.
She's one of those them things.
Well, hold on. I know Allison. That's okay. So just chill out, guys. It's all good. Sorry, I don't mean to step in or anything. I'm just saying, like, I feel like I know how to get this across to her, at least to where it doesn't come off like I'm being a dick. All right, because I'm not, Allison. I'm not pulling this out of my ass. All right, like, this is literally like the steps of how this is done, and I'm using a tool right now that's smarter than me and smarter than fucking anybody in this room right now. And this is exactly what it's telling me how to do it. And I know this because, like, for years now, we've gone through, like, me and a team of people actually went through this. Like, you guys were talking about observations. The lady that was talking, what's your name? Dandelion. You were talking about being able to see it with your own eyes, right? Like, we went out and we saw this with our own eyes from really long distances. Like, one of them was 100 miles, and we still saw, like, an observation at 100 miles at ground level with a tool that, like, it literally cuts through anything. And we were using infrared lenses, which cut through any haze and any refraction or anything like that. If you're using infrared, what you're seeing is what you're seeing. It's there. Like, there is no bending light when you're using an infrared lens, right? Like, everybody can agree upon that. Like, we saw this with our high-powered cameras at 100 miles. Like, we went out and did observations to test this out, like, multiple times, like, probably like 8, 9, probably going on like 10 times. Like, we did this over and over and over and over, and kept getting the same results. Kept
That's
busting.
not science, dude. It's observation. You're explaining to the difference what the scientific method is, and then you wandered off into
an
observation with a camera.
Somebody server muted her. Can someone lift that?
Yeah, she wouldn't be quiet.
She deserved it. She deserved it.
Do you have a response to that, Allison?
I didn't realize that.
Sorry, to what? So
You made a mess of it.
Yeah, so I'm very familiar with the different things that he did in person, in real life, his observations. Not new to me. I was having a conversation about how theory, and experimentation and science all work together. The way that it's being portrayed is not realistic, and I was just pushing back on that part of it. So as far as his observations in terms of, I really admire people who go out and, put money out and travel and do a thing, make observations in real life, like he did with a group of people. Some of the other people I know as well that did that with him. But I was speaking specifically to the connection between theory, science, experimentation, I mean, if all the words you guys were throwing around, like empiricism, like all those things, I was speaking on that specifically, which I am not wrong about. And but I don't feel like this is an audience that will listen to me.
Well, your truth doesn't work here. It's called the scientific method. You can Google it. I recommended you did earlier, and you didn't.
Thank you. I will do that. And
well, it's very well
on the
established
scientific method. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, so it literally says a theory comes in after repeated testing and confirmation of hypothesis through the scientific method. Like,
it's not that. So I guess, and this is a stretch in this environment because not everyone's going to say different. Like, so in other fields, it's like in some fields that's true. In some fields, you have to do work that is you have to do the observational work that isn't necessarily empirical as you go, right?
But yeah, we're not, like I think Larry pointed out earlier, we're not even talking about really fields. We're just talking about the geometry of the globe, which we, through these observations, show is not accurate.
We were talking about theory and science and empiricism and all of that is what we were talking about. And I'm not like, I know you think I'm like picking you out to be mean to you. I'm not at all, but you're the one speaking back to me. So I'm going to respond.
Okay, I mean, I'm a person who has been trained in the scientific method, so I'm going to stick to the scientific method. I think there needs to be an agreed upon systematic way because the point about the scientific method is that it's repeatable, testable, verifiable. So that is the whole reason why it was developed, because you should be able to write out your steps and then someone else should be able to repeat it and get very similar or the same results, and you know, within a certain margin of error. So if they don't get the results, then there's something wrong with either the procedure or it's a very systematic process. That's what we're talking about if we're going back to talking about science. And we were talking about science because we were talking about the motion of the earth. So when we're talking about the globe, that's a geometry question. But yes, the whole reason we started talking about this was because there's no testable, repeatable, verifiable experiment to even demonstrate that this motion exists, let alone any cause and effect. I mean, it's never been observed, so it can't even really be tested scientifically. So that's not really a science question either. But if it were true, the way these globe fantasy adherents are claiming, then it should be able to be demonstrated in reality.
You're talking about the motion of the Earth. You only need one experiment, right? And that's Airy's failure. I guess some people may not consider it an experiment, but what he predicted didn't come true. The Earth wasn't moving. It was the stars.
Seems like you guys got back on the right track, huh?
Well,
gosh, I hope so, Alpha.
So,
talk about actual science and how it works. Yeah.
Well, so the fields that you're talking about that do mix up where the theory falls, right, are fields that are unfalsifiable. So that's why, like, people like us usually throw them out because they can't be, like, you can't prove them wrong. Like, it's astrophysics. It's talking about these, like, it's usually talking about from existing data, like light from distant stars, right? Like, it gives the example of light from distant stars. Well, someone like me would call that bullshit because somebody took a guess at that at some point.
Yeah.
And there's no way to prove it right or wrong.
So that's literally what science is. I mean,
No,
like,
yes,
it is.
Science is a study of it's a systematic study of the physical and natural world. So systematic means that there's a.
Let me correct myself. It's the progression of science, right? Like, how do you ever think of how something might connect?
No, that's incorrect. That's not science. Science is a systematic study of the physical and natural world. That's what it is. You're trying to figure out how why questions.
Yeah.
And you're looking at natural phenomena and you see them occur. You're trying to ask questions how and why they're happening.
Yes. And based on what you observe, you make a current theory, right? And then you update that. And then there are different fields or different theories that exist in the same field that might compete, might overlap, right? Like,
I don't know. That's a bit convoluted.
I can't believe this is news to you.
No, this is a bit convoluted how you're explaining it. It's not coherent. Hold on, sir. Whoever's jumping in on top of Allison when I'm talking to her, like at the moment, it's a bit convoluted, Allison, the way you're describing what science is.
What clarity do you need?
Well, you need to at least parse out what science you're determining to talk about. Because if it's just one specific field, then if you're throwing everything into the mix, then that doesn't apply. What are you talking about when you're in regards to science? What field?
All fields.
No, that would be incorrect. the application of science.
All fields
in regards,
of science,
in regards, listen,
in all fields of science, there are multiple theories associated with phenomenon that we don't fully understand.
Yes,
right?
but when you're talking about science in a way that you're generalizing all of the categories of science, then what you're doing is you're misappropriating the idea that what you're using is one specific tool, right? So when you're talking about, like, in the case
what
of...
are you talking about? I don't know what that means.
I'm about to tell you if you allow me to finish, Allison.
Yeah,
You like to interrupt people when they're talking like you do now.
I'm
like
so sorry. I do have...
There's a lot of energy coming from you, but there's not a lot of like, okay, let me hear what you have to say.
Yeah, sure.
So,
let me hear.
So when we're talking about science and we're dealing with different topics like astrophysics, the gentleman was talking about, when in the case of that, people are using their best guess because there's elements here on Earth that they're trying to, equivocate to say that they're happening up there. They don't know that's the case. They are saying things like with spectral lines being viewed, and on certain elements, they're saying, "Well, we can identify at the elemental rate that when you look at something like a star, you're gonna just by its color, you can be able to tell what type of element that is. But you don't know that. You didn't empirically prove that's true. All you can say is what you can detail from what the knowledge you have here on Earth. So the things that are up there, the things that are up there are only as an educated guess would be, and that's as far as it goes. It's not anything more.
You literally just explained what I was trying to say this entire time. Yes, thank you. I appreciate you.
Yeah, and I think that because there's a bit of miscommunication, or perhaps it seems like people were talking past each other. The only thing we got to understand is that when in regards to science, it deals with certain aspects of questions, inquiry, right? The method of inquiry that you're investigating. So if you're doing it with, let's say, shapes, well, science is the wrong tool, right? You need mathematics or geometry. It just depends. So you have to apply the right type of, idea there. So you're not going to use science for everything. So in regards to shape, like we ask the question often, is there any scientific evidence for the Earth being a globe? The answer would be absolutely not, because science is the wrong tool. You need to figure out the shape of something is a what is question. What is the Earth in regards to shape? So you have to figure out what tool you need to apply, and it's going to have to be something that deals with mathematics and size and all kinds of stuff. So, and this is the thing, right? We want to get to the place where we meet at the table with people with logic and reason, and not have to bicker and fight about things that they might think is science when it's not even the right tool. So
So if I won't say the word science if it makes you more.
You cut out.
I won't say the word science if it makes you more comfortable.
Well, I mean, it's just a different category when we're talking about the shapes of things.
How useful is it for you to focus on that?
Well, in regards to the study of the physical and natural world, in regards to the study of the physical and natural world, we're going to probably utilize it. In regards to the shape of things, we're not.
We're not. Okay. So no science should be involved in
the shape of things.
In the shape. Okay.
But it will be involved for any type of phenomena that we see, or if the Earth is doing something, then yes, we will apply the scientific method to that. Not anything. You have to categorize everything when you speak, and I think mostly that's probably what happened. Everybody's talking past each other, and we're not understanding where we're coming from.
No, the last part of what you just said made absolutely zero sense at all. Like, I'm sorry. I can't just pretend to I'm sorry. That I can't believe no one else is saying anything, but I guess I'm in a room of people.
Nobody has had a chance to say anything.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So that is, just so everybody else knows, not been possible.
Some of us have been specifically told that we need to let the newer people talk first. So
I'm not new, for fuck's sake.
So what was wrong with what I said? Let's hear your critique.
No, I want to let other people talk.
If there was something that you didn't understand, what's the critique?
I understood everything.
That's not what you said like 5 seconds ago.
She just can't believe it, though.
Oh, well, that's different.
It makes no sense, but she understands it. Okay.
Yeah, I just want to parse out the critique. Let's figure it out. Right?
She said the last thing you said, which I actually now at this point can't remember what that was. I don't know if you can.
Well, I'm just trying to figure out if there was something there that was misunderstood. I would like Allison to parse it out and tell me what the critique would be that she didn't understand. Or is this just another method of just being able to pause the conversation?
I can do it. So, like, all I've heard in the last 10 minutes is like meta scientific analysis, right?
Huh?
Nothing specific. Just like if you can parse out this, but like I haven't heard.
You don't know either, do you?
Like you're building out a framework for people to think, right? And I think that's way too much for anybody to handle right now.
No.
What? Like,
No.
let's hear about
No.
something
No. Wait. You're it's a train wreck. Your critique is a train wreck. We don't know what you're talking about. What's your critique? So what I was explaining to Allison was that science is not the tool for shapes. I could be very slow here so that everybody can jump on board with what I'm saying. Now, is that correct or incorrect?
I think it's rude for you to be to speak like that.
Slow it down so that everyone could hear, because it sounds like everybody doesn't understand what I just said.
You're being an asshole right now, and you know it.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. Whatever. Can you understand? Can you understand what I'm saying now, or is that a little bit too difficult?
All right. Well, I think I'm done here.
Good
The
stuff.
only person I heard using ad hom or being an asshole was Allison.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I said
I'm just trying to break it down to you guys, because it seems like at this point you're trying to get things really convoluted, man. So yeah, it's very difficult for you guys who think you're big brains to not really understand that this is pretty simple stuff. You don't need to have a huge brain to like get down to the basics.
Yeah, and you have literally said nothing so far.
Aw. Well, I have,
I
but
told you science is cause and effect. In a shape, there's no cause of a shape, so it's a category error. You're not using science to determine a shape.
Measurement.
Oh, somebody was hearing.
Sure. So no, science isn't just cause and effect. What the fuck?
What's your definition of science and the scientific method?
Go ahead, Jedi. Sorry, Agent Traveler. Go ahead, Jedi.
Correlation.
What's a hypothesis?
Are like regression is involved in science. I don't understand why
You didn't hear you, Jedi.
it just
That's
means
okay. Oh, I could stop.
E to the DV. No, it's not just that.
So you do understand the steps of the scientific method, right?
Oh, here the fuck we go. I can't do this
Sorry,
again.
it's because that method doesn't deal with shapes. That method deals with a prediction of a cause of a phenomena in the physical natural world that hopefully you're going to take forward into an experiment to figure out if this causes that. That's what science does.
So say you develop a way of testing for curvature or whatever you're measuring distance or whatever, something like Uber did with his crew, right? You're doing an experiment. You're testing something, right?
It's not an experiment. It's a measurement.
Okay.
Measurements aren't experiments, are they?
Okay,
if I measure myself to be 6 foot tall, have I just done science?
I cannot believe this is.
What, he dropping some knowledge on you? Yeah, I can.
Holy
Pretty simple
shit.
stuff.
That is
9,000 times.
I did not understand that until you just
All
said
right, Glue,
that.
we don't need the peanut gallery, dude. Allison's trying to
No, but I mean, are you fucking kidding me?
No, he's not.
Not
This is real.
Excuse me. Let's try a different question. If I measure the interior angle of a triangle to be 45 degrees, have I just done science?
If you measure something like in an experiment, is it part
What
of?
do you measure in experiments?
If you measure something, right, to be part of an experiment, is it part of science or no?
Sorry. My goodness me. Measurement of what?
Anything.
Anything. So if I measure myself to be... Hold on. Sure. If I measure myself to be 6 foot tall, have I just done science?
If it's part of an experiment about the height of men and their inability to understand conversations, yes.
Why did you change his example to your example?
I can do this myself. It's a thinly veiled insult, and you're not answering the question because you're scared of the answer, aren't you?
I'm not scared. Trust me.
Okay, so first step of the scientific method. What's that then?
I refuse. Like you have done
Then
this.
you don't know what science is, do you?
No, I don't. Can you tell me?
That's quite obvious because you keep applying measurements to science. You're convoluting terms and hoping we don't notice so you can get away with it.
You keep applying measurements to science.
No, I haven't made
That's
a claim
what you
to science.
just said. That's what you just said. I can't imagine anything in science that didn't involve measurement. So I have no trust in anything you say from this point forward.
Measurements of what?
We can do better than this, guys. Please.
Still waiting for an answer of a measurement of what?
I mean, your height, I think, is what you were focusing on.
That's not an experiment. It's not based on hypothesis.
I didn't say that.
They're not science. If it's not based on hypothesis. Sorry, Allison, this is intolerable.
Measurements are everything in science. Are you fucking kidding me?
Excuse me. Experiments and the hypotheses are the king and queen of science. Not measuring if something is 6 foot tall.
If measurement is a part of science, then we can't ever talk about anything. I don't know.
Sorry. The only measurement that you take in an experiment is the change in the dependent variable.
Wrong. Try again.
The dependent variable is the observed phenomena, the effect we observe in nature. You're going to measure how much that is changed by the independent variable.
The independent variable being your supposition of cause. Do you require citation for
You
this?
don't have a measure for independent variable.
Sorry, do you know what an independent variable is?
No, I've never heard of that.
Really?
Teach me.
Sorry, I don't know whether you're being sarcastic or
I'm being
honest at this stage.
sarcastic. Yeah.
Cool. So what's an independent variable then?
You have to, that's also something you have to measure. So I don't know.
So what is it? Don't tell me what I do with it until you tell me what it is. What is it?
I know what it is.
Tell me then.
Stop.
No, just tell me, or I'm going to tell everyone that you're lying. You do not know. That's why you're like not answering.
Sure. So
what's an independent variable?
You thought that you didn't have to measure.
What is an independent variable?
You thought you didn't have to measure it.
Again, what is an independent variable?
I don't know. I can't possibly know that.
Well, you should do if you were making a claim to science, shouldn't you?
Yeah, I'm ashamed.
Yeah, so you understand that I'm asking you for one of the variables within a hypothesis, thinking that you understand what a hypothesis is, knowing that you probably understand it's a prediction into a cause and effect relationship that you're going to verify through experiment. Me measuring that I'm 6 foot tall isn't doing science. Me measuring the interior angle of a triangle isn't doing science. Me measuring the change of the dependent variable when I vary and manipulate the independent variable is the only measurement you take.
No, it's not.
What is an independent variable?
So are you saying there are instances where an independent variable is not measured?
Sorry, you haven't even defined what an independent variable is, so I don't know what you're talking about until you define the term.
I'm not sure that you know what it is. So
Excuse me. I can cite this. Do you require citation from university?
I don't know what you're saying right now. What?
Do you require a citation from a university defining what an independent variable is?
I know what it is. You don't have to tell me.
Tell me then.
No.
Then leave the conversation. You have no part here.
She says no.
Here's the thing. So I don't.
No.
The way you're coming at it.
Straight kindergarten level behavior. I know what it is. I just don't want to tell you.
Bye, Felicia.
Man, she is painful to listen to.
Oh yeah, man.
Well, that needed to be done. You know, I was listening on the live stream. I was like, oh man, this is going to be good when I get on.
You rack a discipline.
No, freaking Jedi came in right afterwards. It was great.
Jedi was on fire the other day with that one Indian guy.
Well,
I think it was yesterday.
He's always on fire, bro. Like, come on.
True. But what I heard yesterday was really good.
Why do I feel like I only hear Jedi once every 6 months? He's never in here when I'm in.
You're the one that's always gone, man. Anyway,
oh yeah, I guess that's true.
So, yeah, let's just take stock of what happened. So it seems like Allison had a lot of bravado, but at the end of the day, didn't understand what science is. So therefore, this whole conversation for how long has it been going on? About an hour and a half? It's just a big waste of nothing. And then she went to mansplaining, to calling people names, to all that to say, no, I'm not going to tell you what an independent variable is. Wah, wah, wah. You know what I mean? Like,
Mickey, you owe me a cookie, by the way.
Why?
I'm getting better at shutting the hell up when other people start talking now.
Yeah, but your tongue was bleeding.
Yeah, but I didn't say anything. It's progress.
That Dandelion went through it. Didn't want to hear her, obviously. So she went through it already. So she's like, I'm just going to listen to you guys.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, all I would say to Allison, although, you know, I know you guys have muted her, so I want to say something. Oh my gosh. All I would say, you know, Allison, trying to say this in the kindest way possible. I mean, you're arguing about things that you don't know about, that you haven't researched, and I just don't understand what the point of doing that is. Like, why not just ask the person? He asked you if you wanted a citation of what an independent variable is, and he would have told you, and maybe that would have been useful to you. But I mean, if you just go through life sure that you already know enough and you're not willing to learn from the people around you, I just don't understand what the point is of living that way.
You guys have been talking for a long time with people muted, like you fucking know anything. None of you have made a...
I would like Allison to respond. I didn't want to just talk to her and have her be muted. I'm going to say that. But now you're responding for her. Are you responding for Allison?
No, I'm responding to the people that are muted us because you guys are a bunch of fucking pussies and you can't handle people. Actually,
no, that's not the reason you're muted. I didn't mute you, but you know, you kept interrupting when Allison was trying to have a conversation, which now again I've addressed Allison, but you're jumping in here.
Sure. So let me respond. So yeah, I do like, so I guess here's my honest response. When someone comes at me and says, you don't know the scientific method, it's laughable, number one. And number two, it's I mean, I think pretty much everybody has okay, that's not true. Most people in this conversation have an understanding of that. So like for you to come like point me out as somebody who like, what is the, like to like question me in that way, I refuse to respond to that. Yes, there was that one person who kept saying that to me. And I wasn't going to be patronized like that, period.
Well, the Socratic method requires us to understand the definition of the word that we're using and agree on them first.
My response is that I do feel misunderstood a bit. Okay. I will say that first. I wasn't trying to be combative at all, but then I think part of your guys' shtick is to do that. And so, I was ready for it. Right. But yeah,
this was like one of the least
Here's
combative. I'm sorry, but if you don't see that a lot of the aggression was coming from you, like people here were very restrained compared to like other conversations I've been around. So like it was only because you seemed to be, I don't know, purposefully dense or like unwilling to have like a real conversation that it was kind of like it got frustrating. And then some people, like you claimed that I was condescending, then you said that Alpha was condescending. Like the reason the condescending, I'm just here to tell you in case you want to change your like way of dealing with the world. If you don't want to, I mean, if it's working out for you, that's fine, but it doesn't seem to be. The reason people went to that tone was because you were like we were not making any progress in the conversation. Like we're people, like I get it. Like I'm not one of these people who's going to like give you a gotcha question, expect you to know the steps of the scientific method and laugh if you don't. Some people will do that. I'm not one of them. I'm a person who's going to ask you about it to see what you remember about it and then to have a discussion about what it actually is. But when people were trying to do that, you were being very defensive and sure that you knew what science was and it didn't have to use the scientific method. You could just make theories if you felt like making theories. That's why we're in the mess we're in. That's why scientific literacy in United States of America in particular is a disaster because people think they can just sit around and not use a systematic thing because everyone thinks that they're equal when they don't come into the conversation with the knowledge and tools necessary and they're unwilling to accept that they need to still learn something.
Yeah, no, that's exactly, that's my fucking point here, is that science is iterative. We don't know everything. We know, and then we take new information and update like what we know. That's it.
Yeah, and we had to have a process for doing that, an agreed upon process. Otherwise, it will be co-opted by either monetary, profit motives or emotional arguments, political arguments. That's why we have the scientific method to look at something objectively so that these other things are not just taken into account because somebody feels like it should be.
The only reason that science is able to be used is like we have theories that things are based on. Otherwise, that's where the basis of it is. And I do encourage you. So in the same say to you that in the same vein, I would say to you, maybe there's something about the scientific method and or like the scientific arena that you don't understand yet.
Standard theories aren't the first step of the scientific method. They come after hypothesis. They come after the experiments done and you've demonstrated something to be true. And then you can build your theory on something that's been proven to be empirical. Theories come literally right after hypotheses and experiment. Sorry to interrupt again, but
yeah, well, you can talk to her. I just want to finish with one thing because I've tried to get her to look at this 3 times. I don't know if she's actually looked at it. The scientific method.
I'm done with you trying to put me down. Honestly, like
I am really not trying to. I am really, believe it or not, trying to help you. But yeah, I'm done. Yeah, you can talk to Jenna. Go for it, lady.
Help me. Yeah, help me. Show me the way.
Darling, you are beyond help. I'm sorry to be the person to tell you this, but something's got to happen in your life to humble you because you are not getting it.
Okay.
Get a man.
Thank you.
Cited in the side chat if you disagreed with anything that I've said. I gave you the citations for independent variables, what a hypothesis was. I always dropped you what a theory is and when it comes with prevalence to the scientific method. That's later, not first.
Sometimes
so if you disagree with us, you're disagreeing with universities.
Sometimes theories come from other disciplines that are not even directly related to the discipline you're working in.
Okay, that's lovely. But if we talk about science, then we're going to be talking about scientific theories, aren't we?
Have you seen the citation, Allison, that he posted at 52 minutes after the hour? He posted something there for you to look at. I mean, if you're going to be a good faith interlocutor, I would look at that.
52, I don't see it. In the scientific method, a theory generally comes afterwards.
Yeah, that's what I just said. Like, but sometimes it might come from a different discipline.
Yeah, but we're talking about science, aren't we?
Goodbye, guys. I'll see you next time.
My voice is worth of this conversation. Like, I don't think it's going to be worth anything here.
I don't either.
Sorry, before you decide to run away, we're trying to figure out between this. Okay, then. So just listen. We're trying to figure out what science is and what it does. Right, we're talking about very specific terms. We're trying to elucidate that the scientific method isn't going to come to the conclusion about a shape, a concrete noun. Doesn't do that, does it?
Okay. I don't know. Like,
you don't know?
Doesn't it?
Oh, hold on. You told me you were trying to tell me what an independent variable was.
The shape of something, is measurement. Yeah, you take measurement.
Geometry. Right. Geometry, not science.
So that we'll call it geometry.
But that's what it is. If I want to figure out what a shape is, it's geometry, isn't it?
Yeah, sure. So that's if you want to Yeah, I guess maybe. I think it's a contribution to science, right? So,
Sorry?
but in any case, what the fuck is your point?
The point is, you do not know what. Sorry, you do not use the scientific method to try and elucidate a shape.
That's his whole point.
So your point was what? I don't use.
Everybody doesn't use the scientific method to figure out the shape of an object. A what is question.
Oh, okay. So
Science.
Who cares?
Science deals with how and why.
Fuck, is this what you're focusing on? Yeah. Okay. So it doesn't feel like the scientific method to you.
What is the scientific method?
Is measurement a contribution to the scientific method? Is it a part of it?
Measurement of what?
Anything. Fucking anything.
Not anything. It's very specific.
No,
yes,
it's not actually.
It is very specific.
I can't even have this conversation. You don't know what
you don't know what you're talking about. Probably
you don't know what you're talking about, and you.
Sorry. This is getting stupid.
I know. Right? I'm sorry.
You're asking me what part of the scientific method is measurement, and you're going to say measurements can be anything. If you measure an angle, that's doing science, because in science you do measurements.
I said it's stupid. Is it a part of? No, I said it is measurement and necessary science.
I asked you measurement of what, and you said anything.
I said fucking anything is what I said.
Yeah. So me measuring an angle of a triangle isn't doing science. That's not the measurement we take when we're doing science.
It's
the measurement.
Right?
I'll give you the fucking cowbell.
A measurement of something is part of science. Are you kidding me? No one else is saying anything?
Excuse me. You're not listening, are you? Measurements are very specific within science. If I'm to measure myself to be 6 foot tall, that measurement isn't science. In natural science, the measurement is the rate of change of the dependent variable. How much the independent variable changes it.
Oh, thank you for explaining that.
Well, it looks like somebody should have. I'm surprised nobody has by now. Which, if you knew what natural science was, I shouldn't have to educate you, should I?
Allison, this is a flat Earth Discord. Please don't expect much here.
I know. I know.
Quit acting like you know what you're talking about, Bored. You wouldn't know the first thing about science. If you do, go ahead and take Allison's place and have the conversation.
I'm a Hall of Famer.
If you wanted to talk about,
hold on, let me talk to this guy real quick. Hold on, Allison.
If you wanted to talk about
yeah, you're just gonna have to wait. Now I'm talking to Bored. Bored, what do you know about the scientific method? Go ahead.
Hold on, I'm in a game right now. Let me finish this and I'll talk.
That's what I thought. Oh,
Maybe
look,
it's alcohol.
The simp left.
Man.
Bored is another simp, seems. Don't worry about that, Allison. This is a flat Earth room. Like he knows any better.
Say again? Well, I'm dead for 35 seconds. What'd you say?
Yeah, you probably wouldn't know the first thing about the scientific method, do you?
I'm not falling for that trap. Where's my boy?
It's not a trap, dude. It is an honest question. People like you, and you're saying, "Oh, Allison, don't worry about this. They're just flat earthers." Like you're touting your knowledge, like you have some kind of lofty understanding of the physical natural world. I don't think so.
Yeah, it's pretty simple, actually.
Really? How simple is it?
5 seconds. Hold on, I'm playing a mobile. 1 second, man. 1 second. 1 second. Give me.
Take your time.
He said 1 second like 3 times. That's 3 seconds.
Methinks this guy is going to be a bit of a potato.
I think he's going to be your new Huckleberry.
Could be.
Hopefully nowhere near as annoying as Allison.
Well, he advocated for her, so it looks like a simp. So Glue was a simp, and so this one possibly a simp. I was about to head to bed, man. I was like, what's this conversation? I was listening in.
And you jumped in because I saw you in there.
Yeah,
and then Alpha's in there. Must be good. What's going down?
Oh, dude, there's always something stirring when I'm around for some reason. Seems to have, activity seems to have picked up a little. At least to my knowledge. I don't know about you guys, if you noticed any uptick. I've noticed it. Like we're trying to go from politics and religion to politics and back and forth, and I think it's yielding good fruit. I don't know about you guys. Well, see, Allison didn't think so. I do. Juicy content. I mean, people are getting to hear how people are misappropriating what science is. Category error, all this good stuff, and we have the ability to explain to an audience all that, and or have content amongst ourselves, which is also good.
All right, I got a question. I noticed that long ago, QE, when he came on the scene, he just said science, 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 and scientific method. And then all of a sudden I noticed he changed it to natural science in the scientific method, right?
Mm-hmm.
So my question is there some way to help these people differentiate the difference between what they are calling science to scientific method with regard to natural science?
Yeah, did you not hear QE actually parsing out what the difference is? He goes through the different fields.
Yeah.
Don't talk. But and demonstrating that let's measure it. Let's measure the surface.
Let's measure it.
Yeah, let's do that. So, in what way can the Earth be measured to find out that it's actually a globe?
I mean, you tell me. You're saying it's flat, so you must.
No, I'm not going to tell you.
Flat.
I don't think the Earth's a globe, so I don't need to figure that out. I think you do.
But you're saying it's flat, though. So I don't think it's fair for you to
I think you're saying it's a globe. You see, you saw a globe from the airplane window. Why would you not follow through and figure out if it can be measured that way?
You're forcing me to answer you because you're forcing.
I'm not forcing you. I'm getting you to realize that if there's an answer for surface being measured as curving, I think there should be something you can say that somebody's done. Why not? It's been measured, right? We got numbers, values. Yeah. Where's all that stuff?
So look, I clarify my position. I think the world is a globe. Do you think the world is flat, or do you think it's just not a globe?
Well, you saw it. You saw it from an airplane window, looking like a globe.
No. That's not what I asked you.
That's what you said.
No. I'm asking.
Yeah, isn't that what you said? So let's go down to the surface and try to figure out we can measure this monkey.
You're missing my question.
No, I didn't miss it. I heard you say it looks like a globe from an airplane window. Now we need to figure out if it could be measured. And I'm asking you, is there any way to do that?
Yes, there is. Now, before I
let's figure it out. How is it being done?
No, let's be fair here.
Yeah, so we are being fair. We got to follow this all the way to its conclusion, which means that you got to figure out how they've done it.
May I finish my question?
Yeah, if you're going to tell us how they measured it, for sure, you have the floor.
No, that's not what I'm going to say. I'm going to ask you a question.
Then we got to get you back on that. We got to get you back on that topic. We can't go where you want to go because this tangential point you're going to bring up has nothing to do with you telling us how they measured it. We got to figure that out first.
No, it's about good faith arguments, right? So you asked me.
Yeah, well, we're in good faith right now. This is totally good faith.
I don't think so.
So you have to tell us. Yeah. Don't worry about that. All you got to be concerned with is telling us.
You keep interrupting me.
Yeah, because you have to show us how it's been measured. That's most important right now.
I will answer that.
Well, then do.
Question.
Please do.
No. So you asked me one more question.
Yeah, we're not going to answer any more questions. We want you to just tell us.
All right, I'll mute myself then until you...
You can if you want to, but this is you running away from the fact that you're about to show us how they measured it. BoredPotato. This is you running away. This is your concession, how you don't have the information to tell us how they measured it, which should have been, the absolute slam dunk for you to tell us it's a globe. But you ran away at the crescendo. The moment where you could demonstrate to everybody the Earth's a globe. You left, right? And everybody's now wondering why. Could have just told us how they measured it. This would have been done. Guess that was it, huh?
Let's do an alternate timeline. Let's rewind back, pause, and then let him say what he was gonna say.
Negative.
Let's check a parallel thing.
Negative.
You want to say it? No.
Yeah, negative, because all he was doing was what everybody really, everybody's chomping at the bit to say, dude, just let him get it out. No, because the moment you let the guy divert, he's going to run off. You give him an inch, you're going to take a mile. I've done this a million times, dude. I already know how it goes. This is the score, right? You don't notice that because you hear him. It's like a child, right? I want candy at the store. Oh, here you go. Here's the candy. Because you're frustrated. You want to satisfy the kid. But if you don't give in, then you teach the kid a valuable lesson. You don't get what you want whenever you say you want it, right? People feel entitled to get what they want. And so in this forum, we just want them to realize, if you're going to say that you know something to be true, follow through and show us. That's all we're asking.
I wanted you to prove yourself right by letting him speak and then proving you right that he was going to go down some other crazy thing other than.
Yeah, but then what it does, it just opens the door to him going off on a tangent. And
I wasn't going to go on a tangent. I just wanted to ask a question. But
yeah,
that
but
doesn't sound like
I think this is more.
conversation.
Yeah, this is more important, Board. We got to figure out how you know the Earth's been measured. It's extremely important. It's paramount.
You can't have a proper conversation with somebody if you won't let them talk. That's not
You're
right.
talking now.
Okay. I told you I think the world is a globe. Do you think the world is flat?
No, wait. No, you didn't say that.
Right.
You said I saw the Earth as a globe from an airplane window.
Correct,
That's what you said.
Correct. You're right. No, you're right. Now,
Okay.
I clarified my position. What is yours? For me to argue,
We didn't get to the bottom of the fact that you think the Earth's a globe, at least from knowing that it is.
And this is
we
where
didn't
we're
get to
gonna
the
have
bottom of that. So right now, I think what we're doing is attempting to let you show how the Earth's been measured as a globe. That's where we're at right now. We haven't left that scene. We're right there.
All you got to do just said about treating me as a child. Someone wants candy. Don't let them have what they want.
Yeah, we're not. I was talking to the other guy. You were listening to that conversation when I was talking to someone else. All right. So
about who? About who? The
doesn't matter.
Globetards, right?
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
it don't matter.
It kind of does.
Well, that's you being a little defensive and diverting away with another tangential point because you don't want to answer the fact that you don't have a measurement for the Earth being a globe. Is that true?
No, that's not true. I've been on this.
Okay, so give us the measurement then, please.
Who are you? Who's talking?
Me.
Who's me?
Is this a stall tactic?
No, it's not. I just want to know.
I think so.
No, I've been in this channel plenty of times before. I just don't.
Okay, so are we going to go on this color commentary, or are you just going to drop the bomb and give us the measurements to the Earth being a globe, sir?
There's no bomb dropping. No matter what I tell you, you're gonna fight it. Yes.
So you're not going to give us. So is this true that you're not going to give us the measurement that the Earth is curving, sir?
That's correct. I'm not going to buy it.
Thank you, sir.
But
thank you. Thank you for that.
I'm not.
Thank you. You're being honest, right? You're not going to do it. The Earth is definitely not measured as a globe. That's a great concession, at least from your part.
Sure. Yeah. You don't call it concession.
Excellent.
Hey, you won.
Well, it's not about winning. It's showing that you didn't have the evidence that you said you did. And apparently, people think that the Earth is a globe, but they don't know if it's been measured, nor can they produce evidence that it has. So, apparently, you don't have the evidence that you think you have. Right?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Correct.
I don't have the evidence. Now, may I ask?
No, that's all we needed, man. It's just a concession from you that you didn't know it was a globe.
I concede. May I ask questions to you now?
Sure.
What made you go into flat Earth?
The mechanics of water.
Explain.
Well, water over large bodies displays no convexity, so it's horizontal on its surface. So that to me was a knockdown win for flat Earth, at least from the knowledge of like how it behaves on large bodies. So there's no curving surface on bodies of water at rest. So if you've ever seen like, I don't know, the salt flats after a rain, looks like a perfect mirrored surface.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Demonstrating that the Earth with water on the surface is flat and horizontal. Planar, yeah. Knockdown win for flat Earth.
Okay. Was this just like a one-time viewing, or was this like a?
No, this is the mechanics of water, Board. This is how water behaves. Yeah.
Sure. But I'm not asking about
everywhere. Everywhere, all the time. So, you can even test it where you're at. So the method of inquiry, if water is flat on its surface, can be tested by you, and you could find out the same result. Not only that, but water holds rigidity. But bottled water, and you can see the surface of that water. As you manipulate the container in any direction, the surface of the water remains parallel to the ground, to the plane of the horizon. Very cool stuff. So the mechanics of water are such that it holds rigidity in space if you hold, like a cup of water or something, bottled water. So demonstrating that the Earth is a horizontal plane. Indubitably. Knockdown win for flat Earth.
Was that so was that a one-time viewing, or was that like over time that you realized?
No, this is an all-time viewing. At every time, all the time, from the beginning of time to the end of time.
No, that's not what I'm asking. No, I'm asking your perspective. What
do you mean my perspective?
Your perspective is, when did you become a flat earther? You talk about
2015.
Looking at water, and so when you saw the water, that was it. It was like, oh
no, it was a bit more than that, but water was the entry into the knowledge. It broke the the cognitive dissonance, if you will.
Gotcha.
because it was the ultimate defeater. I couldn't find a way how large bodies of water were turning into a globe. Because the myth of the globe is that 70% of the Earth's surface is covered in water, 72 or whatever, doesn't really matter. But if that much of the surface is covered in water, bendy water, I'd be able to find that information out and I'd substantiate it. Of course, that wasn't the case. I searched and I searched and I searched and I searched. And for over 2 weeks, there was nothing that came through. I was staying up late trying to figure this out. And it just more showed me the mechanics of water were displaying, surface tension on the surface, creating a horizontal plane. It wasn't turning into a curved surface. It was not doing that. So I was like, well, what can I say, Other than the Earth with water on it is flat.
But you believe the world was a globe at one point?
Yes.
That's what I'm getting. Okay.
Yes.
And then after that, you saw that 2015, you were like, you know what?
Well, that amongst other things. It was that amongst other things. It was water was the entry into it. But then it was like I learned a little bit more after that. There was much more to it. It wasn't just that one thing.
That's really all I wanted to know. I didn't come in here to argue with you guys. It's just more of a perspective place,
Yeah, we are right now. The people that are in here are empiricists. We try to figure everything out through a standpoint of trying to investigate the questions of, how and why the Earth does what it does, and or the what is question. We can try to see if the surface of the Earth is displaying itself as a horizontal plane, and indeed it does. So.
And do you feel you're doing the proper due diligence to test these methods?
Yes, there's very basic ways to figure this out, because there's things methodologies that you and I can do where I can show you long distance observations over a horizontal plane always display, like from the horizon standpoint, its level and the orientation would be understood from the horizon. So. Yeah, there's other methods, right, besides long-distance observations, because according to the predicted amount of Earth's curvature that should obstruct your view at a distance, well, that's not there. So you can't see the curve obstructing your view from things that you're trying to see in the far distance. That doesn't happen in reality. However, they're telling you that it does, because the horizon would be that point where that occurs. But then where is the horizon, right?
Wait, so who's they?
Well, academia, of course.
Got it.
The information that you receive about the Earth being a globe and where ships disappear from the bottom up, anywhere you receive that, books, academia, whatever, they're telling you that this is how it is, right? The Earth's a globe, things disappear behind the curvature, and that's the limitation to your view because things cannot be seen beyond that curve. So there's kind of an explanation behind that, right? So when you investigate that claim, you figure out that for your whatever height you are, standing at sea level, and the height that you are, your observation level, then looking across horizontally the surface, you're going to realize where the curvature of the Earth should be according to the radius value, 3959, right? That's the value for a radius. Now, if you're saying that you're going to use a bit of geometry to figure out what the distance would be where you start to see curvature being pronounced, well, that distance away from you will be at a specific location. And according to your height, your eye height, I should say, there should be a display of a distance away from you where ships disappear from the bottom up due to the fact that the curvature should be obstructing the bottom of that boat. But in fact, that's not the case. And in only some instances does that occur. Sometimes you could see the ship 30 miles away, as some observations have seen. So not always do things disappear from the bottom up. That's not always the case.
But eventually it does?
Well, not at all times. We have some video where that doesn't occur. But there is some instances where it does, right? So what I'm showing you right now is the fact that the predicted amount of Earth's curvature, where it should be to obstruct that from the bottom up, doesn't always happen. I'm only telling you this right now as a topical information. You really got to do some due diligence and look into all of this. And like I said, I'm only condensing it just for your sake, because I can get long in the tooth about it, and I might lose you. So for now, I think it's important that you realize that there is arguments against the fact that people are talking about the Earth being flat and stationary from a viewpoint of there being information to substantiate it. It's a lot, dude. It's a lot to take in when you're coming in from a position where you're just listening to somebody tell you. So I need to know where you are with the information, so you can either continue or.
Sure, I'll give you the proper respect. I disagree with everything that you've said. I don't agree that there isn't ships do not disappear from the bottom up at X amount of length. I don't believe the world is flat, and I do think it's a globe, and we're not going to come to an understanding here, and that's okay.
You don't have to, because the mindset of somebody who doesn't want to research and investigate, that's up to you. That's the choice you're making. And of course, you don't have to look into this, and of course you can stay that way that you are.
Can I ask one thing?
But the information will still stand as true, and even though you don't look at it, it will still be true at the end of the day.
Alpha.
What?
Are you pro globe or are you pro flat?
Flat Earth.
You're flat Earth. So you're stating that all the videos and the stuff that we're seeing from the space station are fake.
No, I'm talking about this story that they've told you.
Hold on.
Okay, I'm telling you what I'm saying, not what you're telling me I'm saying. How about that?
No.
If you allow me to tell you what I'm saying, I will be able to tell you what I'm saying.
Let me specify. I've seen the image of the Earth from the moon.
Yeah, who cares?
That's my point. Who cares?
Yeah, who cares?
Exactly. So you're saying that it's not real.
No, I said who cares, as in it's not related to anything that we're talking about right now, nor does that have anything to do with you knowing anything about it.
Says flat Earth.
Yeah, okay, you brought the moon landings up. I mean, that's the weakest argument, I think, for globe.
I'm not bringing anything up. I'm just building up the question.
You're not building anything up. You're trying to paint flat Earth in a specific light because you have some kind of bias towards globe, dude. Your little antics aren't something brand new to flat Earth, dude. We know that your archetype comes in here. Oh, you guys don't believe in the moon landings. Oh, I see where your guys are coming from. You haven't even talked to me. You don't even know what I think.
That is absolutely false. I'm just asking you a question.
Yeah, and you don't let anybody respond because you want to paint us in a light that you think that we are.
No, I'm asking you whether do you believe or not in.
It's not. It doesn't concern belief. I don't need to believe something. If something is true,
do you consider?
Are you over talking me, Chris? Because you're not listening to what I'm saying. If something is true, I don't need to believe in it.
Okay, if someone took a picture, is that true or not?
I need to validate.
Did not NASA validates it?
Okay, so somebody else does the validating and not you. That's not validation.
You want me to go to the moon and take the picture of the Earth?
Yeah, so how can you know that occurred like they say it did if you cannot validate it, Chris?
Okay, how can you validate?
Answer my question, Chris.
How can you validate?
Answer my question, Chris.
How can you validate?
Okay, why do you do this? Why are you doing this, Chris? Why?
How can you validate that the Earth is flat?
You don't want to face the fact that you can't do it, Chris. So therefore, you're saying it over and over again as if you're not listening to what I'm telling you.
I cannot go to the moon. I cannot go to the moon and take the picture.
So you can't validate whether those pictures are true or false.
Correct. So you can't validate.
Exactly. That's my point.
Okay.
Exactly.
No, that's my point. What are you talking about? Is your point? That's my point.
Okay. So
this guy, he's like, it's my point. No, it's not. I'm the one telling you you can't validate it.
Let me ask you a question. Let's say those pictures are fake and those pictures are doctored and those pictures.
Who cares about them being fake, dude? You cannot validate them in the first place. Yeah?
Nobody can validate anything.
Okay, then. So you're just accepting photos of whatever they're showing you and taking them on credit.
Are you accepting the fact that you cannot validate that the Earth is flat?
No, we didn't even talk about that. Okay. We're only talking about your space pictures that you're bringing into question.
So why do space pictures look like that?
How the hell should I know? I'm not the one bringing them forward to people and making them believe that this is the case. Why should I know that information?
Why is not the other way?
Who cares, dude?
I mean, what would be wrong if the Earth was flat?
What?
What would be wrong if the Earth was flat?
Nothing is wrong if the Earth is flat because the Earth, Chris, the Earth is.
That the government did not.
Are you just going to yammer on, or you're going to want a response, Chris? I don't know what you're doing.
I'm asking you the question.
You're not asking, dude. If you're not letting me respond, Chris.
You're responding in the midway. Let me ask the whole question. Are
you shitting me, dude?
Yes,
you asked a question, I was responding, you jumped over the top of me, and you wanted to ask another question. You're having a conversation with yourself, dude.
First of all, calm down.
Oh, shut up, dude. With your calm down bullshit.
Are you calm?
I don't give a fuck, dude. Like, I mean, you're just being fucking a dickhead about it.
Flat earther that has a
fuck, here we go.
Stable nervous system here. Any flat earther.
Chris, you said what would be wrong if the Earth was flat?
Exactly.
It would be the ball would be wrong. How about that?
No, you can't get in 2 words with this guy because he jumps over the top of you. See, look, he's doing it again. See, you can't help yourself, can you? Can't help yourself.
You're
the ball would be wrong. The ball would be wrong.
So let
What
me
would
get
be
this
wrong?
straight, Chris. You came in here, you were questioned about your proof of curvature. You said photos from space, and then you went on and said that they can't be verified. So what's your proof of curvature now that your photos can't be verified, that you openly admitted to?
So the photos cannot be verified. That's your
Yeah, we
statement.
got that bit. You're repeating yourself.
That's your
We got
statement.
that.
No.
No, that's your claim. You came to us with photos from space, and then, when pressed about the validation of said photos, you yourself said they cannot be verified. So, we put that aside.
Okay.
Now, what's your next proof of curvature?
Okay, angry Australian man. I'm not proving anything here. I'm just asking
Good, so
questions.
shut your yap and let's get back
Okay,
to
you're not proving anything here.
I'm just
Thank you very
asking
much, Chris.
questions.
You're not proving anything here. Chris, you're not proving anything here. You just said it right now.
I'm not proving anything.
I said it again. Okay, so are we all done here then?
I want to find the truth.
Yeah, the truth is you can't prove that. Listen, you want to know the truth? You just said it. You can't prove that the Earth is a globe.
So you
That's the
believe in
truth.
something that cannot be
Oh my God, here we go with your beliefs. Dude, you just said you can't prove the Earth is a globe. You told everybody here twice.
No.
What do you mean no? It's just, dude, he's like, no.
Alpha,
Fucking hell.
define believe for me, Alpha.
Acceptance without evidence.
Oh, interesting. Acceptance without evidence. Belief. Chris, what do you think about that?
I'm just wondering what would be wrong.
No, he's
with
not going to see
having a flat Earth.
this whole shtick. This is his shtick, dude. He's just going to go reset right back to it. I'm
man.
just wondering. I'm just
what's
trying to
wrong
ask
with
a
the flat
question.
Earth?
I'm just wondering. Like, no, you're not wondering, dude. You're trying to throw this shtick in here like it's something.
Why does the government have to come up with the conspiracy that the Earth is a globe? What's wrong
For God's
with the flat
sakes, dude.
What's wrong? I mean, I'm okay with the flat Earth. What's wrong with the flat Earth?
You know what? You know what's wrong with it? I'll tell you what's wrong with it, Chris. I'm going to give you a simple.
conspiracy.
Okay, are you going to yammer, dude, or are you going to let me talk? All right. So basically, what's wrong with it is it's churning out individuals like you. You are the
Like me
problem.
what?
You are stifling critical thinking because you want to regress human thinking back to where we're just like big old blobs on the couch eating like potato chips and not thinking of anything, drooling on the side of our mouth. But we want to know more about how to investigate claims, how to know our physical natural world, and you're stifling that. So what it's doing, right? What it's doing is turning people's minds into spaghetti. Like you.
Yeah, but I'm okay
You're coming
with
in
the
here
flat
with
Earth.
your belief. You're coming in here with your
I'm
low
okay with the
beliefs.
flat Earth, though.
Yeah, but you're not okay with critical thinking. Yeah.
I am. I'm completely okay with whatever thinking it is. If the Earth is flat, what's wrong with it? Why
What do you mean? Why are you asking me what's wrong with it? Like,
why does the government have to come up with the conspiracy of the globe thing?
dude, I can't divine those people's minds. Like, I'm not here to do that. All I'm here to do is show you that it's not what people
Yeah,
think
but
it is,
enlighten
which is
me.
a globe.
Yeah, but you have to have the power of enlighten me.
I don't need to tell you what those guys are thinking. Listen, the motivation behind why they're doing what they're doing is irrelevant because the evidence stands to reason that it's not what they're telling you it is. Yeah?
Yeah, but why though?
What do you mean, why?
Fallacy. It doesn't matter.
Dude, it doesn't freaking matter. They could tell you they're doing it for power, for money, for hiding God,
Yeah,
for
but
hiding
what's
more
the
land.
fucking power behind the fucking globe?
I'm trying to tell you it's irrelevant. So all these things I'm telling you would be, guess what? Irrelevant.
So you're saying that the power is irrelevant.
Fucking hell, dude.
The motivation is irrelevant. If your wife cheats on you, it doesn't matter why she cheated on you. She cheated on you.
I don't understand what you're saying, man.
Dude,
What's
It's
wrong
probably
with
because
the
you're a
flat
few
Earth?
sheets to the wind.
Ancient Traveler, repeat that again. Was that you again?
Yeah. I was saying it's appeal to motivation. So, for example, if your wife cheats on you, it doesn't matter why.
murder
She
her.
cheated on you. It doesn't matter
You
why.
murder her.
No,
Then you murder her.
shut up, dude. Like,
Jesus
this guy-
Christ. Jeez.
I mean, honestly, man.
I was trying to give him at least a
You're
little bit of
Like.
Oh, wow.
Fuck's sake, dude.
Oh well. That was a good example, Ancient Traveler. Thank you. That was awesome.
I'd south pretty quickly. Wasn't expecting that.
The hell's going on here?
I don't know. Honestly.
That guy has to be drunk. Has to be.
Me? I am.
Not as drunk as
There's just so many people on this
Chris.
flat Earth night. Usually it's dead like 4 or 5 people left.
Yeah, we're just hanging out.
Don't let me stop you. I'm not gonna criticize you guys any longer.
What's good?
I mean, for the vibes.
Hey, Chris, I know you're listening. You should probably question the globe as much as you try to question Flat Earth, man.
I don't even know if he understands how to question. That's what I'm saying.
Me. He can't. He's muted. He can't.
No, I'm speaking to him because he was the last to speak. That's all. That's.
But he's muted, so I feel bad. So you can.
Well, he's gone now.
I feel bad. Oh my god.
What's wrong with
That's
that?
so untrue. That's so untrue. You don't feel shit for that guy that was just talking. This is another gimmick of you trying to just make it sound like you're some concerned person. I'm a concerned citizen. I feel
You're
bad for
absolutely
that
right.
individual.
You're
I don't
absolutely
fucking
right.
think so, dude.
You're
You
absolutely
can
right.
care less. He disappeared right now. You didn't even know he left the room.
That's right. Now what?
I proved my point. Yeah, you're fucking
You're absolutely
dick,
right. Now what? Yep.
You just
Hey,
feel
prove my
bad
point.
because he come in here, he took the heat off you, and all of a sudden he got roasted, and now we're back to roasting taters.
Roasted.
What'd you say, Matrix? Roasting who?
You heard me.
Titus?
Roasting potatoes, like you.
No, your volume is pretty low. Let me turn you up. Hold on.
Really?
I don't know why.
Up we
Hey,
go.
you are a bit low.
I have you maxed. I don't know why I can't hear you.
Yeah, you don't want to do that. Don't.
I
max
don't want
it
to do
out.
what?
Max it out.
Yeah.
Don't max it out.
Matrix is closer to his microphone. Fuck.
Yeah, now you're gonna
What?
Don't max it out. You've been warned. Do not max that
Are
thing
you,
out.
are you
No.
gonna yell at me?
No, I don't have to yell. It just randomly does it itself.
Oh, okay.
Right.
All right.
The only reason you felt anything for your little friend was because he took the heat off you. That's all. Nothing more, nothing less. And now the heat's
Matrix,
back
what
on
are you
you.
talking
So we can
about?
continue roasting taters.
Matrix, I know you. I've known you longer than I've known. What are you talking about? If
Well, you'd be
anything,
smart enough to know to bring your proof of evidence like your other mate didn't do.
If anything, I consider you more of a friend. So what are you talking about? What are we talking about here, really?
They're entertaining.
You want to come and rub me back?
Yeah, right.
Excuse me. Excuse me.
All right, boys, take it to the DMs.
I think Potato is a simp.
All this silky talk, man. It's like,
Excuse me.
Yeah. What was her name that was in here before?
No one cares. Who was in here
Allison.
before.
Allison. Yeah, I think he is a simp for Allison.
He is a simp.
He's
Who
a
else
simp.
was a simp? Glue was a simp. Oh my god, you guys are simping over Allison. Come on, man.
I'm simping over Matrix.
Yeah, what?
You heard me.
Fuck's sake, dude.